Good evening and welcome to our 7th round of the 1980 Pro. I thought I had the mic sound on. Hello and welcome to the 7th round of our 1980 Procar Championship, coming to you tonight from Zandvoort and the 27th Grote Prijs van Nederland, the F1 round of 1980, but with one of the support series that ran that year and the year before. We've seen previously that this track is quite difficult in Formula 1 cars, and if I'm to be honest, from what I've seen, it is no easier whatsoever trying to get through this in these M1 Pro cars, the BMW cars. The balance and the weight distribution doesn't quite seem to translate very well to these high-speed short turns that is around this Zandvoort circuit in its 80s configuration. But quite a bit of fun action we should hopefully be able to get here tonight. Speaking of the track itself, this is what it looks like. Circuitspark Zandvoort. It's a 4.226 kilometer permanent road circuit in the Netherlands. About, I think, an hour's drive or so from the capital. And our drivers will be doing 30 laps tonight, which will be, give or take, 127 kilometers in anger. Looking at points, the championship leader is still Cesariusz Szlapinski on 105 points. 20 points adrift is Grant Ridall on 85. Second in the championship is Anders Nilsson on 61 points. A further 11 points behind him is Richard Wilkes, scoring 50 so far. And Giovanni Centurame, with a good race last time out, lies 5th in the championship standings on 37 points. In terms of points being scored, it's 20 for first, 15 for second, 12 for third, 10 for fourth, 8th for fifth, 6th for sixth, and then 4th for 7th, dropping 1 point for each point back from there. And as always before, you need to complete at least 90% of the race distance to be eligible to score any of these points. And all results count at the end of the season, so being consistent is very, very important. For these BMW M1 Pro cars, yet again, the specs as such are 3.5 liter straight inline 6-cylinder engines, mid-longitudinal positioned, double overhand camshafts with 4 valves per cylinder, 470 brake horsepower at 9,000 revs per minute, a fiberglass body shell, a box section steel frame, and weighing in at just over 1 ton at 1,020 kilograms, or in pounds just under 2,250. So quite heavy for race cars, but quite fun to drive. In terms of the tires, yet again each driver will have 2 sets of tires for the entire event, that being qualifying, the warm-up and the race. Good evening, BL. Nice to see you here. I hope you'll enjoy the show as much as I hope to be able to enjoy bringing it to you and everyone else watching. For the question this evening, so you have something to ponder during the 30 laps of this race, or until we get a lot of lull in the action. The chassis of the M1 was manufactured by which of the following Italian firms? Was it A. Marchesi, B. Ital Design, or was it C. Italiano Resina? I will say I managed to get it right, but it was a complete guesswork of a chance. But occasionally one needs a bit of luck as well. Coming up here at ISO, we have two events. We have the Indianapolis 500 time trials, which will take place on May 7th, which is 2 Sundays from now at 18:30 CEST. That is qualifying for round 2 of our 2023 Lukas Vidra Trophy Championship. And a week after that, on May the 14th, the second round, the 71st Indianapolis 500-mile race, will take place. Most likely I will be in the booth, and we'll see if I have anyone with me for that broadcast event. If not, then I'll do the 500 miles alone, and we all will enjoy getting more tired and tired as the race goes on, just like the drivers will be. But hearing the race track go live, let's head over to the racetrack and see what is happening out on track. As we have, I believe, Grant Ridall having qualified on pole, based on him showing up as the one we are covering. So I think that'll be the first pole position for Grant, out qualifying Cesarius for the first time this championships season. So 7 rounds for that to happen. Holy moly. We can see there how much understeer is in these cars, even with the curved situation that is the Hugenholt Sport. But we'll hopefully have two. As Peter Hlavac up ahead has a bit of a moment there in the number 28 machine, and Michael Drexler as well in the Grundisch sponsored car. We can see Hlavac struggling quite a bit with the balance of the car. Something all of the drivers will probably have to deal with, because high speeds, high weight is a recipe for worn out tires. But let's jump on board with Grant here, as we'll follow him for a lap, as I hope he'll do at least one more lap before heading into the pit lane for a practice pit stop. So coming across the line, we head for the famous Tarzanbocht, or in English simply known as the Tarzan or Tarzan bend. 180 degree, quite long banked right-hander up to Gerlachbocht, this right-hander here. And then we have the Hugenholzbocht, named after the, I think, designer and creator of this track. And then we have the Hunseruch, which is this crest right here, with a bit of a bend in it, quite dangerous. And then we go up the hill to the top of the hill, and the next right downhill wrongly cambered right-hander is Rob Slotemacher Bocht. Some of these pronunciations are difficult for me. We have this left-hander, and then this left-right-hander section is known as Skavlak. And then I think actually this right-hander is Skavlak. And then we come up to Tunnel Oost. No, Tunnel Oost is the right-hander back there. This is Panorama Bocht. And then we come up to the final turn, a right-hander of a crest known as Bossort. Pardon the bad pronunciations, but it's the best I can do for these corner names. We'll see. Richard Wilkes currently second. Sandrame Nilsson, Saber. Ray Juha Bos with a bit of a spin up at that is near Hunseruch. Quite understandable. That's a difficult section. I think Peter Lavac is in for a one-off drive in the number 28 machine for BNS Fabrications. We then have David Wattman back in the Memphis number 45 machine. Alberto Quino, Dave Miller. Luciano Rocha with a bit of an off-road excursion in the Scuderia Basilea car number 60. Jason White we have here for BMW Italia. And one of the Grundish sponsored cars, number 70. And Drexler driving the other Grundish car, number 69. Francisco Amaral we have here in the FNS Sport number 82 machine. We then have Schlapinski, yet again driving his mean green number 5 machine. We then have Dana Scherer in the second of the Scuderia Basilea cars, number 61. And I think those are all our drivers for tonight. We have Jon Tim as well. And my broadcast assistant has just arrived. And she is very talkative, as you may or may not have heard. Oops, there we are. Ain't she? There we are, I think. As we can see, Santorama now quickest so far in this warm-up session. Quite impressive. Schlapinski currently second, with Grant Riddle third, and following him Wilkes in fourth, with Anders Nilsson trailing him in fifth, both on track and in positions. And nice to see Saber quite high up in the warm-up position situation as for Equino. Riddle Senior in 8th at the moment, with Jon Tim 9th and Johan Bols in 10th. We can see how difficult some of these turns are to navigate with these cars. Let's jump on board with Wilkes. Air press, wind deflectors, wing, looking over that at Anders Nilsson. Almost with a very good run there. Oh dear! And it's all crossed up off the road he goes. And that's how easily a mistake can be made around here. Just slightly too much off the throttle, I think, or maybe even braking over the crest there, and car just broke loose, and no way to get it back from there. That's why this is probably the most drivers track we will visit this season in the Pro Cars, because you really need to drive these cars to make them go around here, and without making a mistake, which is very difficult. Here we can see Grant just doing a couple of practice starts as well. Just as important as having a quick car overall. Having a good start makes quite a difference. Especially on this track where passing opportunities is quite far and few between. Only real passing opportunity is at Tarzanbocht. And I suppose in a way you could try to make a move in Hugenholtz Bocht as well, which David Wattmann is just about to come up to. If you have a really good run through this left and right section and then try to dive up the inside into this left-hander, this banked left-hander here. Other than that, you probably need to be quite brave and quite suicidal to go for any other moves around this place. We can see time is just about to run out. I don't think there's much to be left to chance as such in terms of who is going to win. It's low odds on it. Like, the chance of it not being Grant Ridol or Cesaro Ślepiński seems quite low considering the pace they've shown so far this year, but with how easy it is to make a mistake around this place, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see someone else with a win, maybe Giovanni Santorame, for example, or pretty much anyone else, dependent on who has the luck or lack thereof in the race itself. As we've just moved over to the race session. Oh, that's strange and unfortunate. Why did he get disqualified? I am guessing we will have a reset of the broadcast. So unfortunately I won't have any Zoom for this race as we have just moved over, so Oops. There we are. Give me just a moment here, and we'll see if we can... please bear with us. We shall just get a few technical niggly bits sorted, and then we will be good to go. One of them being my hardware, but also some niggly little issue with the server. There we are for my bits. There we are. Now everything is set, and hopefully we'll see racing very soon. Here we are, now in the race session. Hopefully all things will go well and we will be able to get underway shortly. With Grote starting from pole. I think his first pole position in the series. As we can see all the cars at the end of the, well, middle of the pit straight, effectively at the start-finish line. Looks like everyone is ready to get going. And here we are, on to the formation lap. So, on pole is Grote in the Hans Stuck number 40 Valvoline sponsored car for Project 4. Starting from second position is our championship leader, Cesariusz Ślepiński for BNS Fabrications number 5. Richard Wilkes will be starting from third for Schutz Racing. And Giovanni Santarame qualified fourth for Solo Auto BMW. Anders Nilsson will start 5th for BMW Austria and the Gusse B sponsorship. Peter Lavac qualifies 6th for BNS Fabrications number 28. Jon Tim qualifies 7th in the Manfred Casani Racing entry number 55, with Ray Riddall 8th for GS Tuning, the Denim car number 81. Alberto Quino for BNS Fabrications number 27 in 9th, and Dave Miller rounds out top 10 for Sauber Racing Switzerland. David Saber qualifies 11th for BNS Fabrications number 26, and Juha Boos qualifies 12th in the second of the Sauber Racing Switzerland cars number 90. David Wattmann qualifies 13th for Team Schnitzer, the Memphis sponsored with Memphis sponsorship. Dana Scherrer 14th for Scuderia Basilea 61. Michael Drexler qualifies 15th for the Mazzario team and the Grundisch sponsorship 69. Jason White, his teammate, in 16th, number 70. Luciano Rocha qualifies 17th in the second of the Scuderia Basilea cars, number 60. And Francisco Amaral, I think, is the final car on the grid for GS Tuning in 18th. We are just getting through the last little bit of the lap here to get up to the start-finish straight. So let's see if we have a chance of seeing the lights or the flag man. I'm unsure which one it is, but we are ready to get going. Ooh, almost a jump start. The green flag is out and the race is underway. Oh, Grant with a rubbish start, going all the way back. I think he may have... Oh, looks like a gearbox issue. Unfortunately collected by Juha Boos and Michael Drexler. Oh dearie me, that definitely looks like a gearbox issue. Dearie me, or a clutch maybe. But Cesariusz Ślepiński with that takes the lead. Richard Wilkes second, and followed by Nilsson, Santarame, Tim, Lavac, Equino, Riddall, Miller, Wattmann, and I think that was Saber. There's Juha Boos and there's Michael Drexler. All three of them put back in the pack because of that issue. Into Rob Slotemacher Bocht comes the field. Everyone trying to maneuver this difficult turn, but it looks like everyone more or less has been able to get through it. So we can see the drivers turning into Panorama Bocht, having just maneuvered. Ooh! That's Jason White unfortunately off into the wall after having a bit of a moment through Skavlak. No, sorry, Tunnel Oost. And to finish the lap, we have Schlapinski crossing the line first, with Richard Wilkson second, Nilsson third, Santoram fourth, Tim in fifth, Lavach sixth, Equino seventh, Miller eighth, Ridol ninth, and David Wattman rounding out the top 10. And he is being challenged by David Saber, and Saber up the inside. Let's see if Wattman might be able to hold on around outside. Oh, not quite able to do so, I don't think. Looks like Saber takes the position away. He has done so indeed. Saber after 10th, Wattman down to 11th. Schurer following closely with her teammate Rocha in close pursuit, and Ridol has made his way past Francisco Amaral as well. Let's jump on board Schlapinski's car for a moment, because I noticed the Wilks were quite close earlier, so maybe he is fast enough to give Schlapinski a run for his money, but through that backfield section from more or less Skavlak to Bossoit, looks like Schlapinski is quite a bit quicker than Wilks. Looks like Nilsson is able to keep fairly close at least. Back there, Grant has made his way past Rocha, and we can see Schurer challenging Wattman for 11th. Ooh, Wattman closing the door and Schurer taking to the grass to avoid contact. And up ahead, Saber is challenging Ray Ridol as well for 9th and 10th. Saber quite wide there, almost made the grass. That could have ended in tears. I've seen in practice a couple of the drivers hitting the grass there, and all hell breaks loose. So that is Marlboro. No, that was Tunnel Oost into Panorama Bocht. Oh, and Dave Miller with a lackluster run through those set of turns. Puts Ray Ridol right on his bumper. Let's see what happened to Dave there. Maybe he ran a little bit too deep. Oh, wrong line coming in, all crossed up. Takes to the grass a little bit, rejoins over the curb, and just about holds on in front of Ray for now. Oh, and behind, Schurer challenging Wattman again. This time I think she's up alongside enough. A little bit of contact, but Schurer takes the position, I think. Definitely looks like it, so Schurer up to 11th. Wattman down to 12th, and under challenge. Ooh! Grant Ridol up the inside at Gerlachbocht. That is quite aggressive. But able to make it happen, and that's quite an impressive move. Now he has Schurer to contend with as they go through Rob Slaughtermacher Bocht. Ooh, and Grant quite wide, able to keep the car to the grey stuff for the most part though. And now through Skavlak. And I think Marlboro Bocht, and then Tunnel. That's turns on this track. It's so difficult to know for sure which one is which. And we can see Grant really trying to work his way past. Oh, that is that was Saber, yeah, with a bit of a moment. Oh, bit of contact there. Grant looking up the inside. I think he has the overlap. Oh, over the curb though. That could lose him the run he had. No, he's up the inside, and I think he will have this position made before the end of the straight. Let's see what happened to Saber, if we can. Oh, he ran way, way deep. Trying to hold off... no, not trying to hold off. Trying to find a way past Ray Riddle. Ran way deep. And rejoined in front of these guys. And unfortunately a little bit of contact with Grant. But all in all, I don't think there's anything evil in either of that. Just racing goes on as it does. So Grant up to 11th now. Looks like this is still more or less where the main action is located, as now Schurer is trying to hold Grant Riddle off. That's a tall order task. So through Skavluck, this left-hander, and then it's Marlborough Bort, this quick right-hand kink, and then through Tunnel Oost as they go over a bridge in that section, I believe, or at least it was a bridge even further back than the 80s, and then through Panorama Bort and into Bos Oit to finish the lap again. 6 laps completed at the end of this, and Grant trying his darndest to find a way past the Scuderia Basilea car piloted by Schurer. And up ahead, Ray looking up the inside of Dave Miller, and not able to make it happen. Grant up the inside though. Looks like he has the position done. Up into the top 10 goes Grant. It's amazing to see how quick Grant is when he has some clean air. Really proves what a difference it makes. Even though he qualified on pole, he is now over 16 seconds behind Schlapinski after all the issues Grant had in the opening lap, and then trying to make his way up the field. Also see how precise drivers are having to be around this place as we ride on board with Grant here. As he's now up behind Riddle Senior, and it looks like that's going to be a foregone conclusion as Ray leaves the door open. Grant goes up the inside, and Grant up to 9th. That felt a bit like Ray is saying, nah, I don't really have the pace to give up the time. I will lose battling, so I may as well let Grant go and try to stay on his rear bumper, which he has not been able to do. As you can see, Grant pulled away quite a bit of distance to Ray already. And now up behind Dave Miller. The Sauber Racing Switzerland machine. As we can see that 1:33.7 fastest lap so far in the race by Schlapinski. Oh, Francisco Amaral has just retired. Oh dear. Let's see what happened. Oh, that looks... Oh, dearie me! Ow! That is coming through... I am... a tad bit unsure. That looks like it's... it was at Tunnel Oost. And then the panorama turn. That's very unfortunate for Francisco. It looked like the car just broke loose and he ran out of road to use as such. We can see here Dave still holding on from Grant at the moment at least. And this also proves that Equal Machinery really provides some really good racing. Oh, and Grant wide there. Oh, and Grant with a great run coming out of that turn and into Bossoit. Grant goes up to 8th. Oh, that was Dave getting a bit too loose coming off the turn, and Grant immediately making use of that opportunity. It looks like Ray is now falling into the clutches of Dana. And Bors has caught up to Saber. Saber struggling a little bit, unfortunately. Looked like Alberto Junior had quite a bit of understeer coming through Tunnel Oost. But still closing in a little bit on Tim this lap. When Aquino having a bit of a look, I don't think that's a serious attempt though. Just trying to place himself in a mirror and unnerve Jan a little bit. Ooh, and a huge lockup for Little Al there. Wait for John Tim coming through that turn. Clearly one further race completed and the tires are already starting to tell the drivers that would you mind being a little bit more careful here? It's hurting. And sort of giving up a little bit of the ghost that they once had. Actually looks like a little bit further back a nice little battle is going on here between the teammates in the Masayo team. Lexlo and Jason White. As I see as well on the timing, Bose has gotten past Saber. Richard Wilkes with the fastest lap of the race so far. That is mightily impressive. So Wilkes throwing in a bid to try and close up on Ślepinski if he can. And Nilsson likewise trying to do his best to do the same, I think, to Wilkes. And Santarame not too far back either. And we can see, having used up some of the tire life and possibly with a bit of damage to the left rear of his car, Grant's challenge has somewhat faded in terms of catching up to the front of the field. And obviously the faster the higher up he gets the field, the faster the cars generally are. And that makes it even more difficult. Here's Rocha and Bose. Bose attempting to make a move. Ooh. Marlborough bend, that is not a thing to do. Tunnel loose, and now into Panorama bocht. Saber, I think, ran deep at Panorama. Took to the grass but survived. Owens a yellow flag up here. Oh, looks like... Oh no, Ray Riddall has had a spin. So it looks like Riddall will drop to 5th to 14th here. He does indeed. That's highly unfortunate. Looks like he was attempting to attack Rocha. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong car. Oh, got a bit sideways, too much steering lock as the car gripped. It overcorrected itself and had a half spin. Very easily done through Bosholt. And I can see that Grant has caught up to Little Al, but we shall follow Juha for another bit of a lap here, see if he can finally get a move done on Rocha. Oh dear, bit of contact, bit of a almost a bit of a half spin, but able to save the car. And that drops him back far enough to where we can move up and see Grant up the inside, down the pit straight. And Little Al on the outside. I don't think he will fight too hard for this position. Looks like he indeed conceded. And Grant up to 7th. Now 2 seconds behind Jon Tim, next man on his target list. And looks like Ray might be heading for the pit lane. I wonder if he has a puncture or something, maybe. Ooh, that lockup definitely signifies to me that that could very well be a puncture. So unfortunately for Ray, that's a pit stop to change tires, and that'll take quite a while. As Drexler has passed Jason White for 15th and 16th now. When Bos again challenging Rocha, now tried around outside just a moment ago at Rob Slotenmaker bocht. Through Skavlak and Marlborough. Now to Tunnel Oost. Into Panorama, Rocha goes defensive. Let's see if Bos might have a chance on the exit here. Going to Bosoit. Doesn't look like it, and unfortunately Ray Riddle has retired from the race. This Bos now definitely should be close enough to have a go at least. Looking up the inside. Oh, a late break. Can he get the car stopped? He can. Can he get up the inside before the exit to give Rocha a run down towards Gerlach bocht? Not quite. So remains behind for now. And look at this, Wilkes closing in. Only 8 tenths of a second now between him and Schlapinski for first. So I'll try to keep an eye on the difference between them as we continue to watch Bos and Rocha in this fight. Ooh, gear down, Bos up the inside there. Bos just about able to make it over the curbing and keep the car inside, and looks like Bos now has secured 12th ahead of Rocha. Quite an impressive opportunistic move there, getting the car to turn enough at Tunnel Oost to be able to get up the inside. And looks like Tim has almost been caught by Grant. And 7 tenths of a second now between Schlapinski and Wilkes. I wonder if Wilkes may have been able to look after his tires just a little bit better than what Schlapinski has done so far. While the difference has remained at that point, let's go back and watch Tim and Riddle. And Tim wide. Still able to keep the distance to Grant though. Grant showing himself in the mirror now. Oh, Jon entering Tarzan bocht a little bit too quickly. Able to get a decent exit though and slingshot off the turn. And I think Juha might have made a mistake because he's back behind Rocha again. While the difference at the front now is down to 6 tenths of a second. with what will be 12 laps to go at the end of this lap. Definitely looks like Wilkes is driving his car much straighter than what Cesarius is. Hlavic has also been caught by Jon here, so three-way battle, as I'll keeping an eye on the gap at the front. Oh, Jon loose on the exit of the final turn. Off on the grass, and past him goes Grant. So Grant up to 6th, Tim down to 7th. And one of the things, as we can see right there, with a 1.34 second gap back to Jon here, is that any mistake at that final turn really cost you a lot of time over the full lap. Grant with a lot of understeer there. Another little battle brewing at the moment is between Miller and Schurer. Oh, Schurer's all crossed up coming through Tunnel Oost, but able to hold it and get the car slowed for Panorama Bocht. And Rocha has made his way past Saber, and Bors, with what looks like more damage on his right hand side, is going a little slow through there. I wonder if he might have a puncture. Doesn't look like it. There were no tire smokes, so just maybe a spin and a lot of loss of time. Continuing, so not a puncture, so a spin and a loss of time then. Oh, and Anders Nilsson with a spin at Panorama Bocht, dropping from 3rd to at least 4th. Nice recovery there, making sure not to rejoin in front of a lapped car. Let's see. Oh, just snagged the rear brake on the way in, maybe even missed a gear. But either way, locked up the rear, span off, and rejoining, now in 4th. And looks like Slapinski has found a bit of pace, because he's extended the gap to Wilkes. Wilkes may have made a tiny mistake somewhere. Either or is definitely a possibility. As we said, this track is very difficult to take correctly. As we can see now, Hlavic under attack from Grant Riddle. And Grant needs, for his championship's sake, all the positions he can regain. We can see it looks like Grant's tires are starting to really feel the wear, because he is quite ragged at the moment. Oh, Lavach all crossed up, snagging a rear brake on the way in, I reckon. But able to hold on to the car and his position. But now Grant right up under his rear wing. Oh, and Grant with a lot of understeer there though, ended up in the grey and just washed himself up wide. And it definitely looks like up front. Oh no, Slavach all crossed up on the grass, and Grant needs no second invitation. That's Grant passed. Let's watch that from on board Grant's car. As we can see, Peter on the grass on the left there, then coming through the turn. Just got a bit too crossed up coming through Skavlak and through Marlborough. He was too wide on the entry and Grant just slipped up the inside. Very, very nicely done. Opportunistic move, but one needs to make those as well. And 4.5 seconds to make up to Anders. And Anders wide! Anders wide onto the grey and off the track. And now only 2 seconds separate Grant and Anders. Anders really struggling with the tires now, by the looks of things. And meanwhile, 1.1 seconds between Wilkes and Schlapinski. Schlapinski really strong through that back end section, as I also just now noticed Juha Boos has unfortunately retired, presumably picking up too much damage in his spins and offs. And, I take it we are now joined by Juha and both. Condolences on the retirement.
Well, I expect it to happen when you overrev the engine, so.
Oh, okay. Looked like quite a difficult race out there.
Yes, I didn't expect Grant to be that slow on the grid, so I basically hit him. Could have seen it coming, I didn't. And then I had a few spins and I got stuck behind cars with lower rear wing. So it was entertaining.
Huh.
And then I blew the engine trying too hard.
Unfortunately, Schurer off the track, and that's a smoking car now. I'm quite worried for the safety of that engine. I think that might not be long for this race.
Oh yes, Jason White also just had an off-track excursion. He's now running on a bit of a crumpled nose.
Oof. That looks rather bad, but still running.
He still is.
Let's see. Grant still trying to catch up to Anders for 4th. From what I could see for Grant, he had the gearbox or possibly clutch issue on the start. Because I was following him and I could see in the corner of my left eye I have my wheel, and it looked like it was revving up and then dropped the revs, came back, and it was still the same kind of rev counter. So I reckon he was having gearbox or possibly clutch issues, which caused him to be very slow on the start. And Wilkes trying his darndest to keep Schlapinski honest. Really closing up through this section. It's interesting to see.
And Dana's engine just gave up.
That's unfortunate, but it did look like it wouldn't last that much longer, unfortunately, after her off last lap. That's rather substantial engine failure,
And
unfortunately.
David Saber is having a spin at the final turn.
Oh, there he is. Let's see how that came about. Looks like it could be very similar to... Yep, it's extremely similar to what happened to Jon Tim earlier in the race, and also what happened to Anders in Panorama as well a few laps ago. Just a bit too quick in there, turn in, and the rear end just doesn't have the grip to maintain itself. Oh, and another smoking in. That's Grant Riddle. Grant Riddle, I think, has blown his engine.
Yes, he has. The revs are going down. Oh.
Oh, dear me. So trying just a bit too hard to try and regain the places he lost at the start, and now with no points on the board, those championship hopes are quite grim.
Wilkes looks to be trying very hard to get closer to Schlapinski.
Yeah, it looked like he was a bit deep at Tarsen. Through Gialach and Hugenholtz. Oh, Schlapinski wide. Gets a fairly decent exit though. So I think 5 laps to go at this point in the race.
Well, I think 5 once they've completed this one. Schlapinski completed 24 laps now.
Oh, indeed, the counter is somewhat different. Broadcasting and racing, you're right. So 5.5 laps left at this point, and coming up to lap traffic, I think that was Drexler.
Yeah, that is Drexler going rallycross.
Looked like he locked up going into Panorama, and like many have done before, he took to the grass to make sure he didn't spin off entirely. Oh, and that looked like a bit of a screen freeze moment for Wilkes. Lost quite a bit of time.
I saw tire smoke there.
This looks to be the closest thing to a battle on track at the moment, but I suppose we could have a quick look at the trivia question for this evening, seeing as we have a few laps to go and no immediate action out on track. So the question for this evening was the chassis of the M1 was manufactured by which of the following Italian firms? Was it A, Marchesi, B, Ital Design, or was it C, Italiano Resina? Any immediate guess for yourself, Juha?
No, those weren't the answers I was expecting. So, what was answer A?
Marchesi, B, Ital Design, C, Italiano Resina.
I'll go for B. Probably be wrong, but I'll still go for B.
Alrighty. Berlin goes for A. Eric in the broadcast goes option D, Ford. Interesting take. Correct answer is A, Marchesi.
Oh, there we go.
So the chassis, I think, alludes to the space frame tube thing for the car. So congratulations to Berlin on getting that answer right. Back on track, 1.6 seconds between Wilkes and Schlapinski now. So unfortunately for us, it looks like Schlapinski has the pace to keep Wilkes at bay. It's been interesting to see that it looks like Schlapinski is way quicker in the final half of the lap, while Wilkes is much faster than him in the first half. So roughly from here at Rob Slaughtermarker Bocht, Schlapinski is a little bit quicker. And a little bit further back I noticed there's getting quite close between Hlavac and Tim for 5th and 6th. As well as between, looks like, David Wattman and Luciano Rocha. Jon Tim looks to be trying rather a lot behind Hlavac here.
Well, he still has three. I was going to say, yeah, 3 laps to work his magic. It's only 1.1 second. He can try. I think he is trying.
Definitely looks like it, yeah.
It was a very wide line. I think in front of them, Centorame safe in 3rd.
Yep, and Rocha right in behind David Wattman now. For 9th and 10th. Actually, I think Wattman just made his way past, actually.
No, Wattman was always in front.
No, indeed. That is correct. But here comes Rocha now looking up the inside to get ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like he has the
I think he's
the
running a
overspeed.
lower rear wing.
Oh, and Wattman trying, but out in the grey there, it's very difficult. And Rocha up to 9th, Wattman back to 10th.
Now Wattman has the advantage because I expect he's running a more rear wing, so he'll have more downforce through the twisty parts. Rocha might struggle, although help if he would missing gears.
Maybe that's what's going on between Schlapinski and Wilks as well. Wilks running a bit more wing.
It depends who's got the higher top speed. Two laps to go, this one included. So.
It looks like unless Schlapinski makes a big mistake somewhere, he will be able to hold on and take the win.
I don't know, but Jason White retired a few laps ago with suspension damage, apparently.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it doesn't look like we'll be able to get that on broadcast to see what happened.
No, I don't think so. We only got 1 lap left. Schlapinski leads going into it, but currently a 1.7 second lead over Richard Wilks.
Let's ride on board with Wilks for half a lap or so here and see if he can in any way close the gap and make it a run for the win. Definitely giving it a red hot go. Gained half a second through that section. Ooh, a bit of an over rev over Hunserush, the Hunserush crest though.
I think at this point they have to count on a mistake from Schlapinski because 2.5, that's a lot to make up.
Indeed. As they go through quick bits through Tunnel Oost. A bit of a moment for Schlapinski, but keeps it on the grey stuff into Panorama Bocht. Left-hander in that section, and just one turn to go. One more chance at a mistake, and then it's probably sewn up.
Well, I think that's it for Slapinski. That should be enough. He's only got the start-finish straight left.
Indeed, here he comes to take another win. He wins round 7 in the 27th Grote Prijs van Nederland.
That's a nice pronunciation, Jonathan.
Huh?
That's a nice pronunciation.
Thank you.
Good effort.
Richard Willix finishes second. I think he'll be somewhat pleased with that.
Giovanni third, Anders fourth.
Quite nice. Yep, here he comes across the line.
With a lapped, I think, David Saber in front of him.
Yep. Hlavac finishes 5th and John Tim in 6th. And then
Little now exiting the final turn on his way to 7th.
Yep. And I believe 4 points. Oh dear, oh dear.
I think that's 4 points, but we'll
yep,
have
4
to check
points.
the table.
3 points to Dave Miller then in 8th.
Yes, and the final point.
No, 2 points for Procar.
Sorry. Well, if he keeps ahead of David Watman.
Oh, indeed. So.
Which looks to be the case.
Yep. So 2 points to Rocha for 9th, and 1 point will be the reward for David Watman, finishing in 10th. Our other finishers were Michael Drexler in 11th and David Saber in 12th. Our retirees were Jason White, Grant Riddle, Dana Scherer, Juha Bos, Ray Riddle and Francisco Amaral. Amaral retiring rather early in this race, unfortunately. Ooh, that was a rather quick and hectic blast.
It was. And the next round will be in just short of 1 month, May 21st, when we head to Imola for the penultimate round of the series.
That'll be quite an interesting race, I reckon. All those chicanes.
Yes, but we have another interesting race first, before we get there. One which takes quite a bit of preparation. There's no race next week, so I'll leave you to announce it, what happens after it.
Yep. So in 2 weeks' time, on May 7th,
yes,
we will have, like I mentioned earlier, the Indianapolis 500 time trials, qualifying for round 2 of our 2023 Lukas Vidra Trophy, with coverage beginning at 18:30 CEST, and presumably some bumping to be had, most hopefully. And a further week after that, on May 14th, we will have the 71st Indianapolis 500-mile race, the actual race for round 2 of the Lukas Vidra Trophy. And I can see as well, down in the green room, we have Cesarius, so let's bring him in here. Cesarius, congratulations on that win.
Thank you very much.
I take it you ought to be quite happy with that, considering a win and Grant not scoring points.
Win is always a reason to be happy, but Grant not finishing the race isn't something I was actually looking for, because I wanted this championship to be hot until the very last round, you know. But you know, 1 or 2 disco on my side, and Grant is back in the game.
Definitely a possibility. Looked like, based on what I saw, you pulled away early, and then Wilkes was able to close back up, and then looked like you pulled away again. Was that you taking it easy halfway through the race, or was it more he was simply quicker and then his pace dropped off?
Yeah, there was a moment when Richard was getting closer and closer and closer, and I thought to myself, okay, if he is just right behind my bumper, I'm gonna let him go because I don't need any risk, and I will be more than happy to collect those 15 points for the second place. So there was no actually pushing as hard as I tried before the race. But to be honest, Richard made me sweaty all the way.
And looking ahead, we have Imola coming up. How do you reckon the BMW will handle that and your own chances?
Well, I love this track. I love this layout before they added chicanes, before everything happened, what happened in 1994. So the racetrack is fast and technically difficult. Well, it's good to get there with some caution behind my back in terms of points. So I won't be taking it easy, but I will get the proper approach to this race.
Sounds good. Any further questions that you have for Cesarius Juha?
Oh no, I don't have any, no.
Well then, again, congratulations, Cesarius, on the win, and best of luck for the remaining couple of rounds in the championship.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for broadcast. I'm just going to get myself a cup of tea and gonna watch it because it's very interesting.
Hope you enjoy. So, with that, any final thoughts for you, Juha, before we cap off the broadcast?
Well, the points table has already been updated. And if I count it correctly, Cesarius now holds a 40-point lead over Grant. And with only 40 points left to take, I might have to do the maths again, but it looks like Cesarius has actually wrapped up the championship. Because even if he doesn't score anymore, he will have 5 wins, and Grant cannot beat that number. So that would mean Slapinski is now out of reach for Grant.
Well, I will hold off on congratulations, Cesarius, as the champion, just in case the points aren't quite calculated correctly.
Well, they should be correct. They should be correct. Cesarius is 20 points, a 40-point lead. So
then
congratulations, Cesarius. You can take it very easy at Imola, and there's no stress involved anymore.
And huge congratulations on the championship.
Well, thank you, which came with a very much surprise to me, and I hope we're gonna see 2 more very interesting races till the end of the season.
Quite so. So with that, and looking back at a hectic race, very difficult race here at Zandvoort, we have crowned a champion. We still have 2 rounds to go. The racing will most likely be fantastic for the last 2 rounds. Racing was good here today. A lot of good fun action. And we'll hope you have 2 good weeks. Take care of each other. Remember to be kind to one another. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the Indianapolis time trials. But until then, take care, everyone. Good night.